Hello, all you lovely people. Welcome to Adam and Steve Not,
Adam and Eve.
the podcast where we bite the apple. All right. You know, that's still my favorite sound. It never gets old. How are ya?
I'm doing fabulous, darling.
Are you really?
I am. Actually, today I actually am.
Right, because the other day you were in a real bad mood,
Yeah.
so
I'm doing good.
you had to get your crystals out.
I did. I had to get my crystals out. And I'm excited because we have a guest on.
Yeah, we're gonna before we start blabbing, we're gonna go ahead and introduce you to our guest. So why don't you do that, Adam?
Miss Andrew Vu, a.k.a. Drew Vu.
Hi. Drew Vu it is.
Yes.
Drew Boo's in the house.
How we doing?
That was my name. I'm jealous of your name.
I know.
Like, Adam Ridgway is so boring.
So the funny thing is that I have only kind of recently started going by Drew. Just out and
really?
about, people come up and they're like, "Oh, Drew," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess this is my persona now." So
Drew.
And I feel
Vu.
like when I spell your name in text messages, I have to spell like DRU.
Everyone
because
does.
It's your Instagram. Like,
Yeah.
So my best friend Jesse, and I don't know how to break it to him, spells my name Andru, and I am not quite sure if he thinks that's the
sure
actual spelling.
Well, if
as
he
of
listens
now.
to this,
I
now
bet.
he's
So
gonna know.
Jesse, this is how I'm alerting you that you are and have been spelling my name desperately and incorrectly wrong.
Take
for a
notes,
while.
ma'am. Take notes, okay, and get it together. Well, Drew Vu, why don't you give the people a little snippet about yourself?
So I live in Los Angeles,
Born and raised.
born in Hawaii, and then moved to LA when I was about 3 years old.
Oh, nice.
So raised out here, which is quite rare.
Yeah.
It is actually.
I currently work in marketing, specifically media. I work at an ad agency, and I oversee media strategy for one of the largest e-commerce brands in the United States. I cannot disclose who, but it definitely, takes up my Monday through Friday. And yeah, I love living in Los Angeles. It's, my favorite city, and I love going to
It
the
should
beach.
be.
I know.
I mean, what else is there about me? I love fitness and working out. It's definitely my passion.
Yeah, you're hardcore. You're like
As most the LA
risers.
boys do.
I'm literally, there's nothing special about me.
I'm like, as most of the gay LA
No,
boys
but
do.
we met Drew. I met Drew first, I guess.
No, I actually met Drew before.
Well, you did, yeah.
But we didn't really become friends. We would say hi and stuff. It was like at the chapel.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like at the chapel.
And then I met him through mutual friends at a party, and then we kind of like connected really a lot at the beach the following day, and we've just been great friends ever since.
Yeah, it all
It's
happened
been like a
re-
whole couple months.
Yeah, it happened really quickly. I just remember being at the beach, and you and George, your roommate, was there, and I was with my friends, but I was like, I only want to hang out with these two guys. Like, they're so fun.
And like literally, normally I'd be like, okay, who's this person?
Right.
Why is he lingering? But like, I didn't mind.
You are
Like,
normally like that.
I
Normally I'm like
am.
the welcoming one, and you're just like,
I'm like,
who
okay, are we
are
done
these
talking to this
people?
person
Yeah.
now? I didn't feel that way though. You would have known.
I'm
Trust me.
so glad.
Yeah, because normally he is like that. I know that's good because like one of the new things that we've been trying to do when we have a guest is to like try to figure out where we met,
Yeah,
the
'cause
person.
sometimes we're like, where did we meet?
I know.
This has been
Normally,
like
I don't
years
know.
ago. You know, it's like sometimes we,
Yeah.
especially I meet people through you, Steven. So it's
Well,
like
normally I can't remember why I know them.
Yeah.
So because I usually just talk to anybody.
you do, like literally just random people. on the street.
Like, hey, you come here. I don't know. Well, let's see what's going on in the neighborhood. Like,
what's going on?
what's new? Well, LA is open.
Yes,
We have to talk about that.
I know. I mean, our last episode was about us being excited that it's going to open,
Right.
And now we experienced it, and it was just such a delightful weekend.
We had
It
our
really
first
was.
weekend of being open.
Yeah.
And we are tired.
Okay. We are-
And this is just weekend one of the summer.
I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it through the summer like this.
I don't think I'm gonna make it through the month.
Well, it's funny because Friday night, we ended up at Revolver Friday night for the first time in like over a year. And It was just so funny. Like we walk in and like my go-go boys were there. Some of the same ones. I was like, all right, bitch, you kept your body together. I was like, yes.
That was a good feeling when we walked in.
It was.
I definitely had a lot of flashbacks of great times, also some blackouts that resurfaced.
Some twerking on the side.
Some twerk. I'm like, oh, I used to twerk over there and twerk there. Twerk. No, I was like cheesing the whole time when we walked in and smiling.
Yeah,
ear to
first I
ear
just kept
because,
looking around and like
yeah,
waving to people and saying hi and, you know.
realize how many new people there are in West Hollywood.
But you guys went to Evita, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm jealous of your guys' Friday night because that sounds fun. We went to Evita, which usually I have a good time, question mark. I don't really remember.
It's too crowded all the time.
It's ridiculous. So we get there, we walk from George's boyfriend's house. It's about 2 blocks, and we just hear the crowd from half a mile away.
Yeah.
And we're
Crazy.
getting texts like, where are you? The line is so long. We're like, come on, like you're being dramatic. We get there and the line is literally wrapped around 2 blocks of Evita.
That's crazy.
And people are swarming, trying to get to the front of the line. Luckily, we are sneaky and sly. And
Y'all cut.
We cut 99% of the
Y'all just
Am I proud of it? No. Did we do it? Absolutely. Did I have a
proud
good
of it.
time?
Yeah, I'd be proud of it.
Be
You didn't have
proud
to
of it.
stand in
Yeah.
fucking a 2-hour line.
I guess I'm proud of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened. I left maybe after 2 hours. It was just really hot. Dua Lipa showed up. And
Yeah, like I was a little bit jealous of that. I'm not gonna lie.
Were you though? Because it was real bad in there.
it was pretty.
I mean, I was not jealous of the crowd
Right.
and everything though, but it would have been a little bit cool.
But she
just
didn't
like-
sing, though.
I know that was that kind of
She should have been like, "Don't show up."
just a little, a little,
a little
lyric.
something, something.
Right? She'd have like, "Hey, hey," you know, she does her little ad libs that
Cowbell
she
thing.
does,
Yeah.
right?
Ding, 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 ding.
She came on stage for maybe 5 seconds and was like, "Happy Pride," and everyone freaked out and then left. So that was the extent of her Dua Lipa
Yeah.
you
Her
know,
moment
performance, or
I heard Adam Lambert was with her too.
I did not see.
I
him.
saw that on the Instagram. I think
Yeah.
she posted it.
Yeah.
That like he was with her. Or
There
something.
was like lingering rumors that Lady Gaga was going to do a Born This Way performance. That never happened. During my time there, I don't know if it happened afterwards.
No, it didn't happen because we
Yeah.
would have seen it online.
Yeah.
You know,
Didn't happen.
And for people who listen and don't know what Evita is, I guess it's a club called Nightingale that
Right.
they do a night every, and I think it used to be like once a month. I guess it's starting back up on a Friday where it's like a gay night. Yeah, and they have performances and drags and all that stuff. And I was shocked to hear that Dua Lipa was there. When George told me that and he was texting me that, I'm like, this bitch is making shit up.
Right. I said the same thing. But you know what? Evita is real LA. It's that. Like you get, your drag queens, a lot of the RuPaul girls, all kinds of them. And you get like your go-go's, boys, girls, you get performing. Like it's really
Yeah.
like a party, but it is just crowded
Yeah.
and you cannot move and it's miserable.
I've had fun there before.
Right.
It's just crowded.
It just attracts a lot of different types of
Yeah.
people because one, the price point is ridiculously low. It's $5 to get in and it's
Yeah.
free. before
Except
a
for if you
certain
want to
time.
drink though.
Exactly.
Try getting a drink, girl. Because
Right.
she'll charge you get $15 and it's like a cocktail size,
Yeah. Don't even talk to me about the line to the bars. It's
that too.
Ridiculous.
ridiculous.
I
have to
can
fight.
only imagine what it was like that. Just seeing people's like stuff on Instagram, I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Absurd.
A lot. It's like, so I was okay with our decision with
Me too.
Revolver.
Yeah.
Me too.
But we used to be like we were like Revolver fangirls.
Oh, it's my
Like,
favorite.
It was
Yeah.
just, it's like
It's
one of the
fun.
best gay bars in West Hollywood. It's although there was a lot of women there, not that I know, not
In the
women.
first half. Second
Yeah.
half, it was not as. I think they all went to chapel.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah,
or
because we tried
Abby.
going to Chapel Abbey and it was just
Yeah.
filled with straight people.
Well,
It
now
felt
that
like a gay night. I mean, like a straight night for some reason when we were there.
now that Flaming Saddles is
Oh, right.
dead in the dust,
yeah,
they got to
that's
go
true.
somewhere.
That's true.
I think they couldn't get into like Pomp and Tom Tom or something. So they were like, let's just go into Abbey.
Yeah.
Well, Friday was fun. And then Saturday, we all had a big night on Saturday.
Yeah.
Big day.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do anything in the daytime per se. Did
Went
we?
to no.
No, I hung out at your place for a
hung
little
out, but
bit.
you went to the W, the pool.
Yeah, I went to the W pool party for Pride weekend and it was fun. I had a good time. Lots of people. Definitely
Yeah, it looked
reached their capacity limit
Yeah.
for sure. But it was fun. I love that venue. It's a good indoor and outdoor
She's
for
cute.
Yeah.
people that kind of want both. So yeah, had a good time, got a lot of sun. I called it relatively early just because I know what was coming up for the rest of my night. So
Yeah.
I was good and went home and took a nap. So yeah, had a relatively good time there for sure.
We just ended up we went to Reload, which is in Hollywood, which
Yeah.
is typically starts at 3 a.m., but it started
earliest
at,
we've ever
oh
been.
my God, it started at 9, and I think we opened the club doors. So
We got there like 10:30 or
knocking.
11.
we're like,
but there was
"We're
I
here."
mean, it's like 30 people in there or something.
yeah, but you know what? The music was good from the jump.
Yeah, it was really
So
good.
I'll say that. And it was kind of nice to be there where you still had some cool air before all the people got in because
Got really hot.
when the people got there, she turned into a hot box.
Like sauna.
Yeah.
It was like literally you walked in and it was like by the time you got there, Drew,
Yeah.
it was just
It was
it was
miserable.
not like that before. Like everybody
Yeah.
showed up from GPS, so Drew went to GPS.
I went to GPS.
which was downtown.
Do you know for the longest time I didn't know what GPS stood for?
You told me, but I forgot
Like
already.
Gay Party Saturday.
Yeah. I mean,
I
GPS
literally was like, "It's this they tracking us here?"
Right.
what is this?
right? But that's what you would think. But GPS is fun.
Yeah, GPS. Is
It's
really
typically fun.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I had a great time. It was kind of like a culmination of I felt the end of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I saw people that I hadn't seen in a year and a half,
Which is crazy.
right?
Yeah.
Felt like coming home, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As weird as
Yeah.
that might sound.
But everybody
To the
seemed to
Globe
be
Theater in downtown.
Right, but everybody, even at Reload, everybody just seemed to be happy and in a good
energy.
mood and
The
just
energy was
dancing.
really good.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy. I mean, it's the first weekend we're open.
And I didn't really see that like debauchery like you normally do.
Yeah.
Like everybody just seemed to be more excited to be out and see people and dance and you know
just have a good time. With
be
some good
really
music.
sweaty and grind up on each other basically. I guess because
Really sweaty.
I remember when I hit the wall though. We were outside and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, I
time
was
to
with
go.
you guys.
Yeah.
We had just gotten there, me and Nord.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, we're going to call our Uber. I go, okay. Enjoy.
In our defense, it was like 4:30.
Yeah, we had been there for like 6 hours. I was
You
like, I've been
guys-
at Reload way too long.
Right, I was like, I have 2 steps for a very long time.
You guys had every excuse
Yeah.
to go home when you did.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. Yeah.
And it was to prepare for Sunday Fun Day, our first Sunday Fun Day back.
Right.
I mean, I was looking forward to Sunday more than any. Like
Me too.
ever since I moved here, you know, it's been like 8 years now.
He's like, when I was just a child.
Like I like Sunday Fun Day, like was like my favorite thing. It was just like it. I've never been anywhere that does it like LA, you know, and it was just I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
And it did
was
not
finally
disappoint.
It did not. I had
was fun.
so much fun. The music was good at Chapel.
Yeah.
Like
Good crowd.
yeah, it was a good time.
I know everybody had their cute little outfits on. It was real cute. It was fun, but yeah, I heard a little bit the next day. Yeah, I'm gonna lie.
Oh, I've heard all week.
Still, I was going to say, I'm still hurting a little bit.
recovering. This wine is helping a little
Yeah.
bit.
Taking the edge off.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else is going on? So we talked about our weekend. Everybody's like, okay, shut the fuck up. But
We would be remiss if we
Yeah.
didn't talk about Britney Spears.
Yeah, Britney.
She testified in her conservatorship hearing yesterday, and I think we all feel a little sorry for her,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Common consensus is.
yeah, I mean, good for her for finally speaking up. I mean, it's
100%.
been a while.
I feel bad for her.
Long time
Let this
coming.
woman live her life.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the most interesting thing that I found just from the audio recordings that have been leaked online is how well spoken she is.
I know that's true.
Because the image that her social media team is blasting all across her Instagram profile is not what I was listening to on these audio messages. So it's really interesting to listen to that dichotomy of
Well, I've said it, and I'll say it again. I think that Instagram is used against her. I think they allow her to post those dance videos because she looks a little, you know, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And they are kind of funny.
Yeah.
But that being said, it doesn't, I don't think it's in her favor. You know what I mean? And so, but even with that being said, she's an adult. If she wants to have control of her life and her money, and it seems like everybody's there because she's a cash cow. And I think that a judge needs to fire all the people and put somebody professional, financial to help her. that doesn't have a stake in her life, her family, entertainment, something like that, because she's been failed. Like, who's there to help her? Who's there to like truly guide her with her interests at heart?
Yeah.
It makes me sad.
Yeah, it makes me very sad.
Absolutely.
You know?
But I'm glad she said something and
Me too.
she's speaking up finally. Hopefully it's going to, I mean, things are going to have to change. I mean, we were like, we were talking about this earlier. We're just in a day and age where you can't really ignore things like this anymore. It's just so, it's out there. It's like, it kind of ties into what we'll be talking about today, but like social media in general just like puts all of it out there that you can't really get away from it. So you have to make some type of change to satisfy society. Otherwise it's just...
Well, I hope she gets somebody coming to help because it's really sad. Like I was reading somewhere, and I don't know if everything we read is true, but this girl makes millions of dollars, and they were saying that they give her $2,000 a week for allowance.
Insane,
it's like, how am I making that much money? And you're gonna give me $2,000 a week, bitch? I wish you would. Like they would have to put me somewhere because I would I would have gone crazy, like for real.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It makes me sad.
Yeah.
Free Britney. Hashtag free Britney.
Hashtag free Britney. There was another thing.
Oh, yeah. So we had the Raiders defense back or liner. I don't know.
You're trying to act like you know
I made
football.
A note.
He's a football player.
He is a defense end. I made a note. I made a note.
Defense liner back.
What
roll.
that means, I don't know. I mean, if it's not like tennis or gymnastic or like ice skating or something, I don't watch it.
It's not Simone Biles, you don't care.
I don't know. But he plays for the Raiders, the Las Vegas, Raiders. He came out as gay, and congratulations to him. And it was great. Like his video was pretty awesome, and it wasn't like attention seeking. It was just like, I'm gay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. He gave a donation, right?
Yeah, $100,000 to the Trevor Project, which is phenomenal.
Yeah. And overall, I've seen nothing but positive support. And I think he's the first player in the NFL to do so, like active player to do that. And I think it's great. I mean, there's a lot of people that will probably be influenced by that. Maybe a lot of younger people also coming up. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's like super important when things like that happen. I don't think people realize, when we were younger, that wasn't happening as often as it happens now, where people are coming out and being so open about it.
Yeah.
And it's very important for the new generation.
Very brave, and it doesn't hurt that he's a really good looking guy.
He's 6'7".
Right?
I'm like, can I climb you, please? Do I need a ladder?
Right? Like, let me see something real quick.
Grab me that step stool.
Right? Like, come here. So I just thought that was pretty awesome. And like I said, the support seems to be great. The memes are hilarious, though. Like, all the memes are so funny.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, though.
Yep.
We are making steps, aren't we, people?
We are. The gays are going to take over one day.
Happy Pride, y'all.
I know that's right.
We are living up this pride, though, aren't we? Like,
That's what I'm saying.
Open,
Okay,
we're
real quick,
living it up.
before we go into the episode, literally, how many Pride weekends are we going to have?
I know.
Because last weekend was technically Pride, like the dates were.
And the weekend before that.
And then I guess the weekend before that was the actual Pride. And then the following weekend, which was this, whatever, it was like a pseudo Pride, because like we were finally like open, so people were just claiming their parties were Pride party, but it wasn't actually Pride weekend in LA anymore.
But there are parties being marketed as Pride
This
parties
coming up
this
weekend.
weekend.
This weekend, that's what I was gonna say. Like
So-
another like.
Is it just one of those girls that celebrates her birthday all month?
Yeah.
And everyone's just.
I mean,
gets
I ain't
on
mad
board
at
with
it.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey,
It's marketing.
yeah.
we didn't have one last year, so
Yeah,
let's
we're gonna
just
make
have
up for
4
it.
weekends of it.
They're like, we're doing a month.
Yeah,
So, I don't know.
I'm here for it.
Well, with that being said, we should probably get into the meat of our episode.
We should.
Yeah?
Oh, the meat. Oh.
So we kind of wanted to hit you all with, since we have Drew here as our guest, we want to talk a little bit about like social media and mental health and kind of like,
How it all ties into each other and like what, I don't know.
like what you're putting out there as opposed to like who you are, what you're trying to get out of it. Because for the most part, all of us are on social media, right? And during the pandemic, I mean, that's how we all pretty much kind of kept in touch with each other for the most part, right?
Yep.
So, like, we all use it differently, you know, and we all take a little bit out of it in different ways and put things out there. And not necessarily everything you put out there is like who you are, but what do you want out of it? Like, so Drew, like, what's your story? Like, how do you use social media? Like Instagram mainly?
Yeah, so I currently have Instagram and Twitter, and something to note is that I took about a year off from social media. So the current active account that I have on Instagram is new, about a year old.
Okay.
So I deleted my previous one just because it was getting to be more of a hindrance than anything else in my life.
So?
I was finding that I was investing a little bit too much of my time and getting distracted into posting and making sure that I was consistent when I have a full-time job. Social media within itself, these influencers that do this on a daily basis.
That's a full-time job.
It's a lot of work.
Is a lot of work. So I felt myself losing sight of my career trajectory and my goals and my objectives that I set out for myself, long-term and short-term. So I kind of made the decision, just on top of, you know, something else that was going on in my life, to kind of call it quits. So I took a break for an extended period of time away from social media for a year. And honestly, it was very freeing and it felt good. And it just, you get into this habit of when you're out and about, or when you're with your friends and you're having fun, to take out your phone and start recording. But when I took that break, I really was able to enjoy the moment and live in the now. So I do miss parts of it, but there are definitely benefits, obviously, that come out of social media. There's, you know, potential exposure. There's opportunities that come, you know, if, you know, someone sees what you're posting and likes your content. So I get it. There's pros and cons to it, but I think the topic that I personally wanted to discuss today is, you know, the facade sometimes and the imposter syndrome, if you will, of what you are putting out there to the public, and internally the struggles,
like how they perceive that about you,
and how you perceive yourself. Yeah. So yeah, that's...
Well, social media, for one, I always say that it can be amazing and it can also be the devil, because we live in a time and age where kids who are coming up, they are growing up in an age where they see social media as a viable job source, right? Like, you can be an influencer, you can be even like gamers and all these things that didn't exist when I was a kid coming up. Like, I would never be like, oh, I want to be an influencer when I grow up and make a lot of money, or I want to have a YouTube channel and make a lot of money. It is very much that for them. And so you see people doing a lot of things and they're making money off of doing things that you're like, really? Like, you are making a lot of money because you talk about X, Y, and Z, which is like nothing. And so I think it a lot of times push people to make certain content and kind of go out of their way and not live in the moment. Right. You know, but then it can also be a rabbit hole to where, like, you're just worried about how many likes you got and who looked at your picture and who didn't. And I don't know. So for me, I post. We should probably post a little bit more because we have this podcast.
I know. We're really bad at that. That's when you said it's like a full-time job in a sense. Like, it is. Like, we talk about wanting to promote this more, but it's like, it's just when you already are working full-time, it is a big effort.
It is.
Right. If I had 40 hours extra a week to like focus strictly on the podcast
and not sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's just, it would be a different story, but I mean, I'm the same way in the sense that, like, I don't really, I understand what people are doing on Instagram. I understand, you know, that you have your social media, Drew, and you know, put yourself out there in a certain way and you're promoting yourself. And I don't knock that. I think it's great. Like, do you. Do you, Drew Boo. But I'm really bad at it. Like, I just don't, I'm not good. I don't even know what I would be like. I mean, like Steven said, the podcast is something we could actually promote when it comes to myself. Like, I just don't, I don't really post much. I'm not good at if sometimes it messes with me a little bit more mentally when I post more things than not posting more things, you know?
And that's kind of what triggered that year-long break for me a while ago, is that I was losing sight of my real life.
Right.
So I was not focused on what I really needed to be focusing on. And I was so invested in getting the best pictures and, you know, interacting with people. And not to say that that's not what I'm doing now, but I definitely have found a balance between what I want to portray on social media, as well as, you know, staying focused on my career path and my friends and my family and my loved ones, and making sure that I'm allocating my attention accordingly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes what you post is a lot of times what people go off of, and they think that's who you are completely.
Yeah.
You know?
So I will touch on that. So, and I will caveat by saying that I don't have this huge following by any means. It's something that is definitely growing, but I'm not sitting here with like 1 million+ followers or anything like that. So something about me is that I struggle pretty severely with mental health, and my anxiety has been prevalent in my life for as long as I can remember. And I wasn't actually diagnosed until probably about 2 years ago by a professional. So my whole life, I just grew up thinking that I was just this really nervous kid. So I grew up playing soccer, and I was really involved in athletics. So before every game, I just remember freaking out and getting so nervous that I was going to mess up, or something was going to go wrong, or I wasn't going to be, you know, perfect that game or whatever. And academics, I would just tense up before every single test. So I just thought, I chalked it up to just me being a really stressed out kid, and my parents did too. So I think as I grew up, came out, grew into my adulthood, and I kind of got a better grip on who I was as an individual, and started focusing a little bit more on mental health and doing my research on it, I kind of found pretty quickly that I have had anxiety my entire life. So that kind of plays into this social media narrative, because when I go out, I meet people, obviously, and some individuals know me from Instagram or Twitter, and they'll come up and they'll introduce themselves. And, you know, if you know me, my closest friends are always like, Drew, why are you so weird when people compliment you? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to take a compliment. And it has so much to do with how I perceive myself and how I view myself personally, and my self-esteem and my anxiety, my mental health, and I just don't know how to react. I'm always so weird. I'm like, okay,
I'm the same way.
let's talk about something else. I say that every single time. And my best friend Jesse, to bring him up again, he's always like, you can just say thank you and move on with it. So yeah, it's this weird disposition of what I put online. My social media is very much so fitness oriented. I'm in Speedos 90% of everything I post. And I meet these people, and I think they expect me to be so boisterous and outgoing and exuberant and social. And they meet me, and I'm relatively reserved, I would say, when compared to my larger group of friends. So it's interesting, because people, I can tell, like, want to like pull so much out of me from, you know, a social aspect, and I'm just sitting over here like, oh no, this is...
They probably see like this social, confident person in your Instagram, you know, because you are at places with friends and stuff like that. So they probably infer, you know, people infer, because like if somebody doesn't know you and all they get from you is your Instagram, then they're just going to take liberties into thinking who you are. You know what I mean?
They're putting a label. I mean, they do it. They've been doing it with celebrities forever. It's just like they decide who people are without even meeting them.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why if I was a celebrity, I would be like Beyonce. I would just post pictures and I wouldn't say shit to nobody. Like, you know what? I ain't going to respond to none of y'all. Yeah, no, it is. It's like I was saying, we were having this conversation, and on my Instagram, I just post mostly fun stuff. It's like pictures of us out having a good time. You know, if you want to see Adam, he's on my Instagram because he doesn't post on his own.
You guys should just get a shared account.
Well, we do, right? We do now for the
Our
podcast.
I guess.
But there used to be this one guy that I used to talk to, and I thought he was cool, and I wouldn't have mind going out with him. But like, he just was always like so like reluctant because he thought I was just like this. All I did was party. And even when the pandemic happened, he's like, "You must be really sad that you can't party." And I was like, "There's so much more to me than just like going out."
Yeah.
And I finally just
That's
said,
just what
like,
you happen to see.
right. I was like, "You're only getting what I choose to post on my Instagram because I don't want to post my personal business, you know? So I think this is fun, you know, and I post that. And I was just kind of like, if you wanted to get to know me, you could.
Yeah.
I was like, until then, I don't owe you anything. And then he was like, you know what? You're right. You know, and I was like, so we've been cool ever since. But it is, I do understand that, like, I mean, my Instagram is true. I do party and have a good time, and, you know. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm not like this crazy party person. Like, there's so much more, and I feel like you can kind of infer that from my Instagram. But people are going to think what they're going to think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
And there's nothing wrong with self-expression and feeling confident enough to post something in your Speedo. I do have to say that as well.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you want to post it, it's your social media. You can post whatever the hell you want.
well, you know, 40 years from now, you're going to be real glad that you posted that picture when you look back at your body. Be like, all right, bitch. You're like, I looked good.
He's like, "What are you talking about? I'm still gonna look like that."
Right, you're like, I'm still gonna look good. I'm just saying, like, sometimes, you know, I find social media weird because society changes, right? So things that you post now that are okay may not be okay 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But with that being said, that's why I pretty much like Instagram, because it's less of making these statements, political statements. Like Facebook is more of like people will go on their diatribe about X, Y, and Z. First of all, I don't care because, you know, my attention span is short. I will not read past 2 sentences. So I really, truly won't.
Yeah.
But in general, I love Instagram because it's pictures, and I love a good picture or a good video.
Yeah.
It's less of people like preaching about this or that. You know what I mean?
Well, so with
Kind
that,
of.
I had a hard time after this last year because I'm all about, you know, people putting their, you know, views and beliefs out there, and there was a lot going on, so people were definitely posting a lot of things. And,
It changed,
and like some of it was, a lot of it was for the good, you know, but then there was also a lot of negative. It was very negative. It was like, I mean, I think in the beginning of this year, I kind of took a little bit of a break, as not, you know, super long, but like probably for like a month. I was like, I just can't. Like, it was getting to the point where I would go on Instagram like before bed, and I would go to bed in a bad mood because there was just like so many negative things. And like, granted, it does depend on who you follow and like what's going on in the world.
and the country was in a bad
And
state.
the country was in a bad state, but it was just I was in a bad state, and I realized it was making me more of a bad state.
Absolutely.
You know, and I wanted to see the fun things, but there was nothing fun being shown because nobody could do those things, and it was just like it was a mind fuck for me. You know,
It's so important to monitor your mental health as it relates to what you're exposing yourself to. So if you feel like you are getting too much of one thing and it's not positive, then you need to dial it down.
Yeah.
We're our own advocates for, you know, our own mental health. So
It's true. And if you're like stressed because not enough people liked your post and things like that, like you need to pull back. Because I used to, not that I had that issue, but there was a time where I was doing like a day off a week of social media. It was like no social media day. And I actually need to pull that back into my life. You know, I was doing like Wednesdays. So I actually need to pull that back in my, okay, I ain't getting that. Let me not lie and say I was doing it often, but I only did it like 3 weeks. But like, let me not sit here and lie. But I was trying to implement that in my life. Because you're right. Because when you wake up in the morning, you're like, first thing you do is log on whatever your favorite social media is.
It would put me in a foul mood like right away, and I'm like, I can't feel like this. Now, granted, I know there's a lot of great things about
there are
social
amazing
media.
things.
I know there's things that you're putting out there that are like good for you and like what you want to put out there, you
Yeah.
know, that's helping promote you. And that's great. But there's a lot of people that were not doing those things. And it was just, I'm like, I shouldn't be starting off my day this way. This is this is giving me anxiety.
Right.
You know, it's like making me, my mood change, which is like crazy because it's literally just like something on your fucking phone, you know?
And not to mention like the mental crap that you can get because you follow certain accounts, and some of those guys that are naked on all their accounts, you start being like, well, shit, I'm not living up to like what
the
I need to,
expectations,
right? You know, and some people are really good at like filtering and photoshopping, and you just have to realize that like not everybody looks like, because I know right firsthand there's some people that I know and I see their post and I'm like, girl, okay, I know what you're doing. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can fall into that trap too, where you just think you're not enough.
Vouch for Drew Vu.
We can vouch for Drew Vu.
His pictures are real. This is what he really looks like in person.
Thank you.
Right, she got body, yada, yada. No, Drew and
Me not knowing how to react to a compliment.
right, like,
He's like, thank
I
you.
need to go to the bathroom.
right. He's like, I'm gonna
Is it
take a
time to
break real quick. No, I just feel like, you know, especially as gay men, we see a lot of skin. We see a lot of I want to look like that. My body doesn't look like that. I should look like that. And a lot of people go down a path of certain things because they're trying to look certain ways. And a lot of that is a lot of the things we see. You know, women have gone through that as well with like what they see in magazines and all that kinds of stuff. So it can be a slippery slope for some people, you know? So social media can be fantastic. It really can be. Like when you need to get awareness around for things like BLM and other, you know, Stop Asian Hate. And, you know, there's some really good, you know, or if there's a crisis and we all need to come together, it can be fantastic, you know? So there are a lot of really good things about social media. You just have to be careful how you use it.
Absolutely. And I think at the core, the reason that I care about social media is that within itself, it's a platform. So it's an opportunity to use my voice to advocate for things that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Whether that's fitness, whether that's social rights, whether that's equality. So I find that the larger the platform you have, the more people that you're reaching.
Yeah.
And the
That is
message.
true.
Yeah.
That
And like
is true.
sometimes in order to get that platform, you need to post thirst traps, bitch.
No,
You
I mean-
do. It's a fact of the matter.
You're right.
People follow more people that put their
No, it's
that
true.
that physically look good.
Yeah.
And there's you shouldn't
I mean,
not, you know, there's nothing wrong
except
with
for the
that.
people that are like, give to the hunger, and they're like naked.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes right.
Yeah.
No, but I know what you're saying. It's like even like part of the reason why we started this podcast and we need to promote it more is because we talk about all kinds of things. Like we have you on here today and we're talking about like the mental aspects, some of the mental aspects of social media, and you never know who's listening, because at the end of the day, if you help one person, then you helped somebody.
It's very true. And I actually kind of want to touch a little bit on when you said you were like diagnosed with anxiety. So like, what did that mean at the time? Were you going through, because I kind of went through the same thing like years ago, and I was having panic attacks and it was this whole thing. So
Yeah.
like, what did that mean for you?
So this is associated with a longer story, but I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. So I was involved in this pandemic fling, I guess you could call it. It was someone that I had met during COVID, and we had gotten really close, and things just happened really quickly and feelings got involved, and that didn't end up working out. And for weeks after the breakup, I guess you could call it, I was just feeling like I was having mini heart attacks every single day, and I could not kind of diagnose myself what it was. So did a lot of research and hopped on the phone with my PCP, and he was like, you know, I feel like you're having anxiety attacks or panic attacks. So he referred me to a therapist, a specialist, and we kind of just talked. And this was the first time that I ever really got to sit down with someone that had no stake in the game, didn't know me outside of, you know, this Zoom call because it was during COVID, and there was no judgment, and he just was open ears, and we talked about my entire life and my experiences leading up to this experience. And it was very eye-opening because my whole life, like I said earlier, I just thought I was a nervous kid. But to know that I had always been struggling with my mental health was enlightening. And it helped me come to terms with a lot of my past experiences and my past traumas and how I reacted previously. So I think for anyone listening, if you're going through something similar and you feel like you can't talk to someone, my advice would just be to reach out to a professional because it's
What they're there for.
that's
Right.
what they're there
And there's
for.
nothing to be ashamed about.
Exactly.
That's the thing. People feel like there's shame with reaching out to somebody for whatever reason, for mental illness, whatever there is. There's nothing to be ashamed about.
I think there's this taboo associated with talking about your feelings and your mental health that it shows that you're weak.
Especially
And-
for a man.
Right, especially for a man. And
gay man.
I will say that I feel like we are moving in the direction that it is becoming more acceptable to talk
is.
about,
It
which
is.
I'm so happy about because mental health awareness is number one on my list of passion points. So whatever I can do to advocate for someone seeking help or reaching out to someone when they feel like they have no one to talk to, I'm all for it. So
Yeah, it's like, and there's like billions of people in the world. Like you can talk to somebody.
You're never alone.
Someone's gonna help. Be
you're
able to
never the
help.
only
you know?
one.
Yeah, never ever.
You're never
It's
the
like,
only one.
I definitely, I've gone through anxiety pretty bad in my past. Like, and I never. I've managed it very well over the past probably like 10 years, but before that, when it started happening, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I was so confused. I was like, why is this happening to me? Like, I felt like I was dying. You know, I would like lay in bed at night, and my heart would just be palpitating, and I would just like be breathing. I would like want to throw up, and I didn't know that I was having panic attacks. And I remember talking to my dad and my stepmom, and I'm like, I feel like something's wrong with me. And I started kind of telling him my symptoms, and my stepmom was like, yeah, I think you're having anxiety attacks. The problem with that, though, is that at the time I got diagnosed with that, they give me Xanax, and you could become so dependent on it.
Right.
And I hated that. I felt like I would have anxiety if I went somewhere and I didn't have my Xanax on me because I thought I was going to have a panic attack while I was in public around people, because it's happened to me before. I had to leave. I used to work at Walgreens. I had to literally leave. I was working at the register at Walgreens.
Not at the Walgreens.
I was like the end of the night. I walked back to like tell my manager that like I didn't feel okay and I needed to leave. Literally just left the register by itself. And my manager was like, what are you doing back here? And I was like, my face was pale. I couldn't breathe. And I'm like, I need to leave. I need to leave. And I left. And I called my cousin and I was, going through it. And it's just like, but it was because I was there and I didn't have my meds, and like, I stopped after a couple years of taking them, and I learned how to manage my anxiety. And it's hard, it's really hard for people that struggle with it. It's like, I'm a very nervous person too. I'm a very anxious person. I've always been that way. I feel like I'm always like looking ahead, and I can't ever, it's very hard for me to be present.
yes.
And I've been better with it. I've like kind of learned, to manage things a different way and take some things that are more natural, but it's just, but yeah. And like social media does have a huge part in it too, because like, it gives me anxiety sometimes.
But that's
thinking
probably
about,
why
like,
you don't post very
I know it does. I think too
You
much
really
about
don't.
it. And
You don't post very often.
I think I kind of give you, I do give you props, because it's for somebody who has anxiety to be able to like post something more confidently. It's hard to do, so like, and I know you want to do it because you want to better yourself and like and better the world and like better, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's the hope for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to touch on a little bit of what you said, anxiety definitely affects all aspects of my life. And it's kind of our lifelong journey to kind of get to a point where we are in control or have a sense of how we handle these moments of mental health breaks, whatever you want to call them, anxiety attacks. So I've kind of leaned on a lot of coping mechanisms like meditation and breathing techniques to
That does help.
Very important.
yeah. So
You need to get some crystals.
some crystals. Yeah, I'll hit you up.
We'll take you.
Yeah.
Some sage.
Right.
Love. But I mean, socially, professionally, personally, romantically, every aspect of my life, I can, there's been moments where anxiety has crept up and I need to meditate or start breathing to kind of get myself out of that state of mind. And it's
Do you do yoga?
I don't.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you would
Yoga's
probably
good.
like yoga.
Should
I don't
I?
really do it, but
I do it
I've done
sometimes.
it before,
Yeah.
and it does help.
Definitely.
It does help.
Yeah, that's what
But
people say.
I don't know.
It does. I like it.
I don't
Yeah,
bend
sometimes.
that way. But
Well, I don't really either.
Yeah, but you won't ever if you don't
depends.
do it.
gotcha.
You know, you
That's
got
true.
you got to do it to get better at it. Anything,
Right.
but you will get better if you actually just start. There's a guy. Oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name, but there's a guy that Tim Senesi. He's this guy on YouTube, and he does a lot of yoga for different levels. And I started doing yoga during the pandemic. Like I would play in and out of it before, but I really needed something to center me before I was starting my work days because I was kind of going through it. Like when the pandemic first started, like everybody else, I was in a mental state.
Yeah.
And I'm not typically one to be in the mental state, but I was.
Everybody went through their
Yeah.
own version of,
And really,
of mental.
it's
Shit.
true. But yoga
that.
helped me.
Yeah.
I would get up every morning and I would put this guy on YouTube, and I would be dedicated. And I remember I told you, I was like, I'm starting this yoga. I'm starting stretching every morning. I stretch I still do the stretching every day. But it helps because it's that time that you just.
Well, and
You
it's
try to-
all like both stretching and yoga kind of go hand in hand. And they're
Yeah.
a lot about breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you focus on your breathing, it's like it really helps you with anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, and I feel I needed it, and I actually like I've been stretching every day, but I've started the yoga again because it's just to start that day off with the centering. Like even if you do it silently or you put on some slow music. I used to put on some Sade and get my yoga on sometimes. I found it very helpful. You know, just a center because sometimes like. You just need something to pull you in. Just like I was joking about you being in a bad mood. I was joking about that because I was the same way the other day. I was just in such a foul mood for no reason. And I knew I needed to pull myself out of it. Like I literally called my mom to talk, to like help me because I knew I was in the mood and I knew I needed to present myself better, you know, in that day. And I just knew and I needed to pull, you know, sometimes you get there and you can't pull yourself out of it.
you're just like you feel like you're drowning. Almost.
Yes.
Like and. I feel like it's very hard when that happens because it's like you get mad at yourself
Because you recognize it.
because you're like I know that
You
this, like
recognize
I'm
it.
not being like I'm being a bitch or I'm being
Yeah.
whatever it is
Yeah.
because I'm affected by my anxiety or whatever that's like bothering me right now and I can't. No, there's times that like I think meditating actually is a really good thing to do. I haven't done it in a while, but for a while I would wake up and I would meditate even just for like 10 minutes.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it.
It's a little hard. Sometimes I want to fall back asleep, but but if
You're like,
if you start your day and you try to do it that way, like and you just focus on your breathing. Because when it comes down to it, all the things that we have anxiety about, all the things that are on social media, all the things that like surround us that could put negative energy into our lives, like it really aren't that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
in the
Like,
grand scheme of things.
in the grand scheme of things, the things that bother you on a daily basis aren't that big of a deal.
Yeah. I totally. It's like sometimes when I'm like stressing over certain things, like I'm like, okay, you're literally stressing over because you want to go buy X, Y, and Z, and that is not a problem. That is like,
Or even if your boss said something
You
that
know,
pissed you
right,
off, or
or
even if someone
something.
said something, or your friend did something, like
Right.
it's all not that big.
In
a
the
deal.
bigger scheme of
Yeah.
things,
Right.
let's
Yeah,
It's like
there's a way to approach it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it be healthy and not
Absolutely.
affect you that much. But it's hard. Emotions are a thing that
hard.
just take over. You know, it's like you can't really help it. It's like what the hell is this thing inside me that I'm
Definitely.
just like it's not a dick.
Yeah. Why isn't it?
like, why am I feeling like this? And it's not. Y'all nasty.
Anyway,
Anyway, I wonder.
Well, with that being said,
I feel like
I don't
we're-
even know where to go anymore.
I know. I feel like we should wrap it up because we're gonna be
Right.
going a whole nother direction.
Well, just know that there's help. That's all I can
Yes.
say. I wish I had like a number or something to give you, but maybe we'll post something on the on our
Not
Instagram.
my phone number, bitch.
We'll post something right. We'll post
post
something on the
yours.
Instagram. Look, go to social media.
Look at our podcast. You want
Right.
to give us your story on there? Definitely. You can come on.
so many hotlines, so many
Yeah,
helplines.
definitely.
There are.
There's so many.
out.
I mean, you just Google. You can literally Google search anything.
Yeah.
Anything you want to find. There's help out there for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah.
I think we should get into our final segment. Ma'am, what do you think? Okay, so Drew Vu.
Drew Boo.
I'm gonna always call you that now.
I know.
I've never really
That's
called
my
you.
name.
I know, but like I've never called you by
You're
your
like,
last
that's my name.
too.
Don't wear it out.
No, every time I see you, I'm gonna say Drew Vu.
Please.
We're gonna play Ma'am, what do you think? It's just a little, we picked a card. We're gonna say what do you think about it.
Okay.
We're gonna answer first, and then Steve and I will follow.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, the guests always go.
Got
first.
it.
Ladies first. So, ma'am, what do you think about watching porn on a work computer?
So,
I don't know. Maybe
as
this is a
someone
bad
that has
question.
to VPN into my company's network to be able to use my computer, that is an automatic no in my book. But under other circumstances where your network isn't tied to a larger corporations and it's the last resort and you
The last
gotta
resort. How is it ever a last resort?
and you gotta do what you gotta do. Hey, I'm a proponent of, getting the job done. So I think it depends on your circumstance.
Steven.
It's a no for me. I've heard stories about people who get caught watching porn on their work computers, and I work off of a laptop. I feel bad enough when I go and like Slick It Up or something. Slick It Up, like looking for costumes and shit on my computer for work. I'm like, I mean, it is apparel, but I must say no because I'm too afraid of like. Even though I don't think they would ever check, but you just never know.
Yeah.
If somebody's looking for a reason to fire your ass, that'll be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No.
Why? I mean, why would you do that? Why would you just pull your phone out?
That's what I was gonna say. I was
Right.
like, my answer is no. I'm just listening, but no. I don't need a VPN to be on my computer, but it's just it would be weird.
Right?
I need a VPN to access certain systems on my computer, but
Same.
I just use my phone.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just easier.
It would
like,
be
like even just pulling out my personal laptop, I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna like there's just a fucking pull up.
I
Like, my
know,
phone is
it's
right here.
so
It's like
yeah.
it's just easier. I can like put it to my TV.
I know, right?
Wow.
I used to use my.
I mean, Apple TV, bitch.
I used to use my.
Love it.
My iPad, but then like your wrist start hurting from holding it.
You can get one of those holders. She was setting it up on like a water bottle, something to prep it up.
No.
No, I'm saying when I'm in bed, girl, because but I'm like, but now my wrist hurt from holding it. And
You got a baking sheet.
You just got to find that happy medium.
your phone's so much easier.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's the only reason why you use Twitter these days.
But like if your phone's dead and
Yeah.
I don't know. I was talking about in, a last
Like
resort.
really got to watch some porn right now. The phone is dead.
You really
You're
gotta
at
get
someone
off.
else's house.
You're just like, yeah, you've had a long day. All your electronics are dead except your work computer.
yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, hopefully no one from work listens. Well, if they do, we don't watch porn on your
Okay,
computers.
exactly.
All right.
The answer is
Right.
no.
Yeah.
If
so
you listen,
that's
you
bad.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely don't do that.
Yeah.
Well,
But anywho, I'm so glad you came on.
I'm so glad you guys invited me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
it was really
fantastic.
we kind of talked about it for a while. We're like, we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah. I stumbled upon your guys' podcast like kind of accidentally, and I was like, "Oh, I
Did
love
you
this.
really?
Not accidentally. I mean, like I followed you guys on social
Oh, I'm
media.
like, you did?
Stalked you
I'm like,
guys.
how?
Stalked you guys, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a little bit obsessed." I just find myself listening to you guys when I'm on a walk, or
I love that.
working. Yeah.
I love that.
Now I'm a part of it.
Oh, I love that journey for
Well,
all of
you're,
us.
this is one of probably many more for you to come be.
Yeah.
Would love to. Yeah.
You never know what topic we're going to bring up.
Recurring guest segment.
No, we love that. 'Cause trust me.
Our other guests are like, they said the same thing.
And I've only been on once.
I was a one and done too.
But things are opening. We're doing things. We're going to have more things to say.
Yeah.
So you
Yes.
never know.
Yeah, definitely. But like for people who are listening, like where should they follow you or email you or whatever? I don't know.
I email you. Where should they send you a fax?
No, probably not email. It's probably just Instagram.
So Instagram and Twitter are Drew_VU. So that's DRU_VU.
But you don't Twitter though.
I do.
you?
I don't have many interesting things to say, so I usually just post the photos that I post from my Instagram on my
Okay.
Twitter. So I guess one or the other is fine. But yeah, exciting things coming up in the works pretty soon that I am looking forward to announcing. I can't say too much at the moment, but yeah, stay tuned on the socials and you guys will know more.
You guys follow him. He does have some good stuff coming up. The things that we kind of might know, and then there's even more, I'm sure. Yeah,
For sure. And then also follow us. That would be great. You
Yes,
know, if you're going to follow
please.
him, fucking follow us.
I know,
bitches.
right? Get it together.
Adam and Steve podcast.
Yep.
Or me at Adman2005. Steven.
And me at Green Eye Steve.
Yes. Thank you all for listening for, you know, our episode with Drew and social media and all this stuff, you know. And okay, until next time, remember that God made Adam and Eve, but he also made
Adam and Steve.
any problems?
Pray about it.